I know it's got a little delay, so we'll let it go. Greetings, readers and travelers, and welcome to another episode of Richey's Players Guild, or RPG for short. I am your host, Richey Stevens, and joining me today is the one, the only, Jez, the sexy bastard, Cajiao. Jez, how are we doing today?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. It's good to be back. It's
It
good to
is
see your
great to
smiling
be back.
fucking face again.
Hey, same to you as well. And, this episode is about a month late. We were going to do this originally last month, but had some things come up. So, it happens, right?
Yep, it does, dude.
But, recently, actually a month today, your book for Underverse, book 10 came out on audio.
Yep. Wrath Rising.
How does it feel to have, because you have a shit ton of books out. You have a ton of books out there.
Yeah.
How does it feel to, be in book 10 in Underverse?
Honestly, it's a bit weird. I started Underverse with the intention of writing it, first of all, as 18 books. And then I realized that I was happier with it being 12, just because of the way that the story was going to work out. And I didn't want to just end up like padding it to make it to 18. So I decided 12 will work. 12 works well for it. And I always intended to write it in 2 sets of 6. So 2 seasons, essentially, like when you watch a TV show and it's seasons. So I wanted to write it as this 6. So you had a solid start, middle, and a jumping off point at the end where something's been achieved. So he comes into the world, he gets through, gets stable. I'm not going to go into details, obviously, if people haven't read it, but so you have a stable sort of jumping off point at the end of book 6. And I was so determined that it was going to be that section of the story tied up in book 6 that I broke Amazon's page limits repeatedly. And we ended up fighting with Amazon because their maximum was 828 pages. So we had to cull pages and adjust margins and everything because the book ended up as 417,000 words.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because I was determined. It was getting done in 6. Getting done.
And I was going to say, that one is which?
Empire Ascent.
I was going to say Empire, which I have all the way, physically, I have all the way up to book 7, because you brought him to Jordan Con 2 years ago for me. And that thing is a chonky bastard. Oh, and he's going to grab it. Here we go. Let's see how massive this thing is.
So, this is Wrath Rising that came out recently and about 220,000 words. Okay.
Nice little chunk. Whoo!
Yeah, that's Empire. It's literally I can beat somebody to death with it or use it as a doorstop or something.
See, we have that joke with Jay Krause in his new book. It's a chonky boy as well, which I have my copy around here somewhere. It's probably still in the box.
Nice.
But if he ever did a paper or a hardback of that, if you took it on a flight, you would have to register it because that thing would definitely do some damage if it was thrown at someone.
It's weird, isn't it? You gotta have a real book. Though I've got to admit, I only found out yesterday. I was having a conversation with a few people about good books, and I realized that book 14 of The Wheel of Time is missing. And I am furious because book 14 is the final in the Wheel of Time, the final book that you cannot get anymore in that style, that cover style, since they brought out the abomination that is the series on Amazon Prime, and then they redid all the covers.
Show me the style of the cover really quickly, because if there's a half price books right around the corner from the house, Ryan and I will have to go look and see. Oh, I've never even seen those covers.
Yeah, these are the UK ones.
Yeah, we'll have to look on eBay and see if we can find something.
Yeah. So I've been
also, so we have the amazing Jess Wargo in the chat, and she asked the very first question of, wait, Jez is wearing pants?
I know.
It's shocking.
If I'm honest, I had a shower before because we were just sorting stuff in the house, and I walked downstairs and I was just like, I'm just gonna go out wearing a t-shirt because my office is in the garden. So my neighbors are regularly traumatized by me wandering around naked. Truthfully, I don't think I've ever lived in a house that I haven't traumatized all my neighbors within a few weeks.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I
So
think it's fair.
I said to Chrissy, I'll just wear a t-shirt. It'll be fine. And she was like, no, because you get up and walk around and you'll do that and you'll forget. I was like, that's a very, very valid point. So,
well, hey,
yeah.
when the boss tells you to do something, you have to do it. And
Exactly.
I think we're all terrified of Chrissy. So we listen to what Chrissy says. I mean, Chrissy, if you're listening to this, we love you and we are not scared of you, but we respect you.
And please don't hurt me. No, she's a good one. She's a good one as the boss.
I have always loved my short little interactions with her. Never met her in person, sadly. But when I do, I owe her a huge hug.
I keep talking to her, I keep saying that what we should do is do Lit RPG Con, not next year or the year after, maybe the year after that, when the kids are a little bit older. I think she and the boys should come out, and then we'll go and do Disney after it.
There you go. That would be a fun time.
Yeah. We're planning on doing Disney this year, so that's going to be the first time for the kids.
The zoo in Denver is one of the best zoos I've ever been to. So definitely, if they come, you got to take them to the Denver Zoo. Denver Zoo is one of the best.
I think we'll probably be moving. Well, I'd like to stay in Denver with Lit RPG Con, but it's just a case of the hotel that we're at has a maximum capacity of 2,500. So we can't grow much more than we already are. So in a year, possibly 2 years, we'll have to move, unfortunately. So I would like to stay in Denver because it's a really nice city. I really enjoy Denver.
It is really nice.
Obviously, if there aren't any hotels that are suitable, then we'll have to look elsewhere. So,
right.
My vote is we go to Florida because I went to Lina Beach as well.
But we already have all the cons over there, like Jordan Con and Dragon Con. I think they're wanting to keep something more central, right, for Lit RPG Con?
We are. We also looked at West Coast just to be further over as well. So Central works best with Denver, but there is a minor problem with it. It doesn't have a fucking beach. I like a beach.
That's true. That is true. That is very true. So
maybe Texas would work.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, I won't complain about that one. I don't know how the beaches are. Ryan will have to be the discoverer on that one because I mean I've only been down here for a week tomorrow, so I don't know yet. I've just been exploring. But before we dive into the actual like book conversations and whatnot, we got Lit RPG Con.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the guests have been announced and the panelists are being announced here soon. Jez, you were one of the very first guests announced. How does it feel to be going back to Lit RPG Con? I mean, I think it was kind of a given that you were going to be there.
Well, it was a given that I would be there, yeah. It's one of those things. Geneva messaged me and said, you haven't put in your application for being a guest yet. And I was like, Geneva, I'm running the sponsorship side. I am going. And she's like, yes, but you haven't filled in the guest application. It's like, why do I need to? You know I'm going. You know all my details. She was like,
when Geneva asks, we obey because she also scares the shit out of us. I mean, we love you, Geneva.
She told Chrissy. So the two of them are having a go at me, and I'm like, I thought it was a given. I was going. I didn't need to apply. But no, I was made to apply. So yeah, it was. Yeah, it's going to be good to be back. In all honesty, because last year it was manic because we were just constantly running, trying to keep an eye on things, trying to make sure everything went smoothly.
Yeah,
and that was without the fire. So, but genuinely, it was so nice because the feeling of it was so different to every other con. It was 1 minute it's really relaxed. The next, walking out on stage and there's like 1,200 people in the crowd and we're like, hey, fuck this. There was, in the opening ceremony, I think it was Geneva that shouted out, right, okay, we're used to going everywhere and everybody wondering what is Lit RPG being one of the first questions. He said, does anybody here not know what Lit RPG is? And there was silence. And one guy was like, me? Screw you!
Now, Geneva and Emily and all of you guys have really given it your all. It was probably the best con I've ever been to. And I'm not going to say probably. It was the best con I've ever been to. And I've told everyone who's ever asked me that Like how was the con? Was it a good experience? Was it a good first con? You would think this con's been running for years with how smoothly everything ran, even with the fire.
Geneva and M did an incredible job. They really did. I'll hold my hand up and say that me and Jeff, we had very little to do with it. We just basically approved and went, yes, okay, no problem. And it did as needed on our side. We filled in little bits here and there, and we ran where we were told to. And essentially, I made sure I had pants on. He made sure he was upright. That was pretty much it. But the rest of it was Geneva and M. So they did do really, really well.
So if you guys ever see Geneva or Emily running around the con, make sure you let them know you're having a good time. Everything's going great. Now, if they're on a mission, however, don't get in their way because you will get bulldozed.
And one other important fact that I will add when you come to the con, on the main floor of the con, you have at one end, you have like the vendor hall. At the other end, you have the main hall.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of that, right next to where the elevators are, there's a little alleyway and it's a toilets.
Yeah.
If I come running along and I am trying to get down to the toilet, don't get in my way and then say, hey, can we talk? Because I will pick you up like I did last time. Picked somebody up, turned them around, put them down, and went. Because I've been trying to get to the toilet for about half an hour. When you're like, okay, I've got to go now. And you're like, get out the way.
Just, you know what, Jez? Just shoot me a message and I'll be your private escort. I'll grab the tower shields or something. And I'll just start pushing people out of the way.
It's just really funny because the person I did it to was so surprised. I was like, I'm going to the loo. Don't ask me questions in the queue for the toilets. Talk to me outside.
And that hallway is really thin.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not a big hall at all.
It's not.
So, obviously, panelists are getting announced soon. It's no surprise. I did a post on TikTok about it yesterday that I'm going as a panelist this year on the book talk side of things. I'm really excited. We got Dennis in the chat as well, which he's going to be there. And we've already told Geneva that, hey, if you put us on a panel together, we're sitting right next to each other. He's going to be my anti-anxiety buddy because I'm going to need it.
Dude, you'll do fine. And if all else fails, run.
That is true. That is very true.
If all else fails, we'll just get drunk before it and during it and after it.
I mean, I don't really drink that much. I think I didn't have my first drink until Sunday night. Yeah, it was Sunday night.
Well, I'm going to leave aside the fact that I'm disgusted by you at this point.
I was more just trying to get content made, and then my phone decided it was like, nah, I'm going to fuck up and corrupt all the audio or all the video footage, and that's it. I lost my interview with Alleron, and I was so upset because that was a good interview. It was supposed to be 10 minutes, and it ended up being like half an hour to 45 minutes.
Nice guy. He was a genuinely nice guy. I'm gutted he can't make it back, but with the situation as it is politically, he doesn't want to come back to the UK, to the US at this point, and I can totally understand that. So, for those that don't know, the last time that me and Richey got together was at wasn't it Vegas? It was a Dragon Con, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now
with the lightsabers.
With the lightsabers, yeah. They ended up lost on the way back because they lost them in transit. So they took a week and a half to make it to me, and they all arrived broken. Yep. Insurance was like, yeah, we delivered them. What's the problem?
They're broke. That's the problem.
Yeah, but regardless. But you did an absolute blinder of a job for me and Matt, didn't you?
Yeah.
We started a panel, okay, everybody. We started this panel, and it was a great long panel. And we get up there, and we're all sort of finding our seats. And Matt turns to me, he's like, what are we doing here? I was like, I fucking know. We're having a chat. I'm going to go laugh about it. And then we realized that this is going to involve us talking quite a lot, because what was happening is we were getting prompts and then having to respond to it. Then he was judging everyone. So this is about 10 o'clock at night. So I'm about a bottle and a half of rum in already. And I'm just going, I'm not really feeling this. And he's laughing. And I'm saying, tell you what, I've got a brilliant idea. I pull out my emergency bottle of rum. But it was only one bottle of rum, because you always carry a bottle of rum with you in these things. And so at this point, it's like, right, so we start pouring out, and the event's starting to really fill up. There's lots and lots of people here, but there's lots of people on the panel as well. There's about 10 people on the panel.
I I have a photo memory of who all was on the panel.
Go on then.
So it was from like one end of the table down to the other. It went Matt Dinneman, yourself, then Brian.
Yep.
Then you had Nathan Amy.
Yep.
Ryan Rimmel.
Yep.
R.E. Carr. Is that Rachel Carr?
Yeah.
S.L. Rowland, Melissa Olthoff, Marisa Wolf, Casey Azell, James Hunter.
Yeah.
On the other side of James, it was, I think that's when it went to Rose and then Chatfield. Yeah. I have a picture of it on my phone, actually.
So we had all these people on, but obviously once we cracked the emergency room, everybody wants some emergency room. And at this point, Brian isn't on the stage because Brian isn't actually supposed to be on the stage. But I've realized that I don't really want to do this. I want to get drunk instead. So I run around, grab Brian, steal a chair from somebody and pull him up on the stage and slide him in between me and Nathan. Brian, being Brian, absolutely just rules the show. Does a fantastic edit. I think he won in the end, didn't he?
Ari Carr won.
Ari Carr won. Well, it was definitely a close one then for him. And myself and Matt just sat there getting steam and drunk. But once we'd started to run low on the emergency run, we called Richey over and sent him out.
Grant, keep in mind, this was like 30 minutes before the panel.
Oh, yeah.
That you guys ran out of this. And you're like, oh, just go up to the bar. So I was like, okay, I'll just go up to the bar really quickly. And they're like, yeah, for a bottle of rum, it's going to be like $200 and some odd. I was like, no, I was given 80. Fuck this.
Yeah.
So I called Geneva and she's like, there's the liquor store right across the street. I was like, fuck. Okay. Which this liquor store is sketchy as shit. It's on the corner right across the street from the hotel in downtown Atlanta. They have like security bars on the door. They had a security officer working the front door, only letting in 3 people at a time. I was like, fuck, I'm going to be late getting back to the panel. I'm going to be running down the middle aisle with the bottle of rum and the panel's already started. Good thing I have Jez's badge. Luckily, I got back there I think 5 minutes before the panel started.
We were starting to really panic because we'd run out of rum at that point.
Yes, and it was a bottle of Kraken, 98 proof. And it was a gallon. And that didn't last the first quarter of the panel.
And that was almost exclusively me, Matt, and Brian drank that entire thing.
Yep. And I'm like, oh, God, they're going to send me on another run real quick. All right, I'm ready.
It was a good night. It was a good night.
That was probably one of the funniest panels I've ever seen. And that was supposed to replace the the dating game, because normally they do the fantasy dating game.
But none of us wanted to do it. Yeah. It was a good one.
That was a great panel. And shout out to the actual moderator. I think his name's Sarge. I think that was his name.
Yeah, he was really good. He was.
Oh my God, he was fucking hilarious. Which I learned a lot about myself that night. I learned that I am the erotic inspiration for S.L. Rowland's writing because he couldn't pick his girlfriend. That was probably and this was definitely an After Dark panel. This was a 18 plus only panel, and it was so freaking funny.
To be fair, it always is when we're on.
True.
Yeah.
I love a good, adult only panel, because it's you never know what shit's going to be said.
It's always going to be messy.
It really is, but it's always going to be a fun time. Because you're going to be hurting from the laughing.
Oh yeah, but then it's the next day for us. We're sort of sitting there and people are going, "Oh, so when you said this," and I said what? And they show you the recording and you're like, "Oh shit."
Well, so Casey Azell, when she brought her husband up to demonstrate the hand necklace.
Yes.
2 weeks later, her daughter sends her a message and was like, "Why did I just see a video of my parents making out on TikTok?" Someone was in that panel, got that on camera, and posted it.
Yeah. See, I don't know about anybody else, but I am so glad that when I was really badly out of control, it was the end of the 90s into 2000s. So there is still a lot of recordings of me. There were a lot of recordings of me going around, but thankfully they're all pretty much lost by now. I'm thankful for that.
See, I'm getting noticed in public by they're like, wait, hold on, your name's Richie? I was like, yeah. And they're like, are you the guy we're supposed to send feet pics to? I was like, son of a bitch. So now we have a thing that every time I see a Matt Dinniman display, I take a picture of me flipping it off and I send it to him. I don't post them, obviously. I only send them to him. These are for him specifically because God damn it, Matt Dinniman.
Yeah.
Nope.
Definitely.
I should preface, I love Matt. He's a very good friend. He just loves to torture me.
Oh, he does. It is one of his favorite hobbies.
It is. There's still the surprise. I was okay. The one that was posted, Baz, hold on. Because Baz said lies. One was posted. He posted that. I didn't. I posted a picture of Gary Furlong, Rebecca Sands, and myself and Luke giving a thumbs up to Operation Bounce House, showing, hey, we love Matt Dinniman. The picture that was posted was sent to him directly. So I didn't post it. Matt did. So Matt posted it, not Richie posted it. We got to clarify that because I got yelled at and was told specifically not to post that picture.
Oh, no, post it. Always post shit like that. If you need to think about it, is this good for me? Is this a wise move? Then the answer is always yes, post it, because it will amuse the rest of us. I mean, yes, it might not be good for you, but it will be amusing for us.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fucking hilarious, and that's why Matt was like, "Lies." They posted it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: Matt's not the one who told me not to post it. It was Geneva. She was like, "Oh no, that's gonna piss off a lot of people. Don't do that because they don't know that you and Matt have this going." And I was like, "Well, that's fair. I will show love to Matt Dinniman." No. He replied. He posted it. That wasn't on me.
I'm actually seeing him next week. Go for some beers at London.
Oh yeah, he's getting ready to start his UK tour, isn't he?
Yeah. He's an absolute fool though. What he's got, the dates that he's got booked in, he's got 2 in London and then like 4 up the country, and they're all immediately after, like each day they're in a different city. It's like, Matt, do you not remember how drunk we get? There is no way you're getting from this hotel all the way to Edinburgh. No,
he's gonna have a very rough day. Cool, give him some love for me. I'll see him in May. He's going to be at a con that Ryan and I are going to, so that's going to be fun.
Oh, which one's that?
Comic Palooza in Houston, which Rachel Cooper is also going to be there, I think.
I remember she said about that, yeah.
So I'm excited. It's going to be a fun time. I filled out an application to do a live podcast there. So, yeah. Professional.
You're going to have to pick on Matt. Do something.
That's me. Oh no, I'm gonna do everything I can to try to get Matt on that if I can. Which I'm sure he's gonna give me an outrageous, thing again without me knowing. Like, hey, 20 people have to send Richie feet pics like he did the last time, and I got 200 within an hour. But enough about the cons. Jez, we're here to talk about you. So, right now, you do have, I guess technically it would be 5 series published because you wrote in Artem. You have Prototype. Then, of course, you have Rise of Mankind, Arise, and the Underverse series. Am I missing anything that's published at the moment? I don't. I was going to say, I don't think I am. I did my research, surprisingly. So, obviously, Artem was the Cyberpunk series, and it was co-written with 3 other authors. You have Kevin Sinclair, Don Chapman, and Lars McMuller, which was a shared universe, and it's one of those where I'm just like, I love this series. It is fantastic, and how it all intertwines.
It was great fun in that way because with it being cyberpunk, but with it being based around the same city, so it's, for those who don't know, you don't have to read all of the stories. You don't have to read them in any particular order. Though if you're really looking for an order, I think Kev's Rise of Oshbog should be first.
Yes.
And it's because each of these characters have their own lives, and you only see the other characters intermittently. Like, for example, my guy, Cabot, hires Lars's guy. I can't remember Lars's main character off the top of my head, but he hires him. He's a hacker, and he hires him to do a few jobs. So you see the interaction between Cabot and this guy. God, it's going to really annoy me. I can't remember his name.
I'm looking it up right now.
Legend. But you see the interaction from both sides. You see Cabot basically going, well, this should be a piece of piss. You're a cyber, you're a data rat. This is your exact thing. It can't be that complicated. And then you see from the other side,
Bodouin.
Bedouin. What?
Bodouin.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah. I was gonna say I heard. Oh God, who fucking narrated? It was Pavi. Pavi narrated this one, and I was like, I'm trying to hear how he pronounced it.
But you see sort of from the other side where he's going, you want me to do what, you fucking lunatic? And you see the cut-off conversation where you're going, oh yeah, just give me a second, and then put them on mute going, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I can do that. Oh, it's going to be expensive though. You lunatic. And it's both sides of that, which was great fun to write and also to be able to interact. But it was great to create the world as well, because we'd be doing it at stages and we'd be like, oh God, I need the police force. What's the police force called? And we'd be asking each other. And if nobody had named it, then whoever was at that point would say, well, I need the police force, so I think we should call it this. Oh, well, I like this. Oh, I like that. We'll bounce off for each other for a bit. And then, right, the Arkham Police Force is this. Okay, moving on. And that worked really, really well. But unfortunately, Cyberpunk just wasn't that big for the lit RPG community. So we always intended it to be 2 books each. And that's the complete story for those characters, is those 2 books in each. So
I was gonna say I have all 8 books in the series, and I loved it. I love Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk is just because it's that nice like fix between sci-fi and fantasy, where you can have the fantasy races, but also the sci-fi like technological aspects of everything instead of it just being magic.
Yeah.
So, and Kevin blew me out of the water with how good he wrote an orc main character. I wasn't ready for an orc main character, and now I want more.
Yeah, he did with Rise of Oshbob. It was fantastic because Oshbob is for those that are looking for something, the story works so brilliantly because the orcs are, as is traditional in these kind of situations, they're the bad guys. They're looked down in society. They're 2nd, 3rd, 5th class citizens. Well, Oshbob has basically been thrown away as bomb disposal, and he's been blown up, he's badly injured, and he survives, and they just throw him aside. And it's this massive, big, hard bastard rebuilding himself, literally, at times, and going through life and trying to find his own place and becoming this absolutely unit of a guy that runs
there's no breaks on the story either. It's just batshit after batshit.
Yeah,
because I mean, you see him fall. What in the first, maybe 2nd chapter?
Oh yeah, it's literally your first 10 minutes of the book, and what kind of story you're looking at here. This is grim.
Which shout out to Neil Helgers and Stephanie Nemeth Parker, who did the audiobook narration for it, and oh my God, they absolutely killed it with how good they did that story. Which I mean, really it's Stephanie and Neil, so you're in for a good story. Which I think Stephanie did 2 of the books, like stories, because she did Dawn's Tailspin with Neil Thorne. I think is who narrated that one. Yeah. I'm looking right now. Yes, and of course you had Jessica 3 and Christopher Boucher for the Revenant side of things, and Lars's Hackers of Artem had Pavi Presco and Rebecca Woods. So all amazing Lit RPG narrators. Yeah. All gave it their 110%. So that's one I highly recommend reading if you want like a complete story for a great set of characters. Go check out the Artem series. Yeah. They are fantastic.
We had a lot of fun with it. We really did.
So, and then you had Prototype, which was your Yonder exclusive for the time.
I'm just going to control. My camera's just switched off, and it's the way that the camera works. I'm not just going, Richie, stop. It's actually the camera controls.
I thought you were just saying hi to me.
Well, you know how it is. It's just like,
oh shit. Here, hold on. I can make this. There we go.
You see what I mean? It's really annoying because I talk a lot with my hands.
Yeah.
And it's like, see, now it doesn't work. But I turned off the control before by accident when I moved my hands and killed it. But yeah, so
You're fine.
Prototype was a Yonder exclusive in that it was a story that I wanted to experiment with. So when you're writing, a lot of people won't realize this, but you get this little sort of, you know, when you hear a song and it's just going round and round in your mind and you're singing that song. It's like that with a story. You all right there, dude? So it's like that with a story in that you want to try things out, but it might not work with the story you're writing at the moment. So I wrote Prototype as well, this will be something else I can do. This is something to try, because I had plans for for Arise, but I couldn't do some of these things in it. I couldn't do some of those things in that. So
Yeah.
I wrote a standalone story just to get it out of my mind, essentially.
Which the game I put Prototype with, I was like, oh, I always try to compare each Lit RPG to like, okay, like what game could I play if I'm like listening to this or anything? And that one I got Lost Planet from Capcom, which was like their sci-fi, you know, Planet Explorer / Monster Hunter game. Love that franchise. And that's what I always compare Prototype to.
Yeah.
Because it's that nice sci-fi fantasy mix. And you know, you got big ass fucking guns.
Oh yeah. So for those that don't know, the way the Prototype works is it's a nanite-based technology, and the main character essentially wakes up on the ship on this this super carrier. The elves have betrayed humanity, and they're in the elves have sort of set off a nanite bomb, and it's erased the memories of a lot of the people in the crew. Some are going mad, driven mad by it. Others are just trying to piece their lives back together, and they're trying to figure out what's happened. But they're chasing this elven carrier and this elven attack group, which has totally devastated Earth, and they're basically just going to try and get some payback. And at the very beginning of the book, the main character is shot down over an elven world, and is pretty much the rest of his force are driven back, and they jump into hyperspace or whatever it is. I can't remember if it's hyperspace or warp or whatever, but they've all done a runner trying to get away, beaten back by the elves. And our main character, Ajax, is floating down, parachuting down towards this completely hospitable, unknown world. And it's just like, and it's him exploring it and trying to make sense. So
it's a good, and that one's only a standalone, right? Is there going to be more of that one, or?
No, it was always intended as a standalone. I deliberately didn't finish the story off in that that's it. You know, there's this massive war and he's won. It's a case of at the very end of it, he's accomplished everything he's tried to do, and he's opened the door to a lot more for the rest of his people.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of him escaping into the Yonder type of thing to start the next stage. But it was always intended as a standalone.
I have a physical copy of that one. It's also back in Indiana until I can get it moved down here. And I have the hardback of it, and it's pretty. The hardback of that one is it is a gorgeous damn book. And he's going to grab it. I think he's pulling a me now. Oh, yes. God, I love that cover.
Yep.
No. I love that cover.
Yep. Damn nice looking book.
All right. So, Jez, what series should we touch on next?
Oh, we've got. Let's do Arise next.
All right, your completed series, which is a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah,
I love this one.
Arise is based on urban fantasy, essentially. It's based on a lot of. Again, we're talking about Nanite one, but it's. For the first section of it, it's pretty much only he levels. And it's for a good reason. The theory behind the series is that humanity is a bioweapon. A biological weapon that was built to be used out in space, to be deployed as soldiers on worlds, as boots on the ground, and as completely disposable troops. But we kind of went a bit AWOL. So if you've ever heard of an old anime called Guyver, bio-boosted armor Guyver, that was what I really had in mind with it. I loved that series growing up, and so that was sort of my homage to it, in that it's like, this is it. So a lot of it was built around that same ethos, and then him exploring, because what's happening is he's finding things like werewolves, he's finding vampires.
Yeah.
They are real, but they're not real in they're supernatural creatures. They are a second phase for humanity that was intended all along as part of the bioweapon program.
Well,
And
and you
what's
also have the
happened
gods in there as well.
exactly? So you have them as the genetics are breaking down. You have certain people are reactivating and then becoming werewolves, vampires, and stuff. And you have a lot of people who are hiding this, trying to keep the whole thing hidden from the rest of humanity because you don't want to get that kind of shit out there.
Right.
But also, you've got sort of one group that's essentially one faction that's saying, non-intervention, we don't want people involved, and the other faction who's like, fuck you, we're going to have fun. You've got the good guys, the bad guys. But when you're thousands of years old and you'll live pretty much indefinitely, you don't really tend to care if you kill a few humans here and there because they're pretty much bugs to you. And that's where the sort of the level of threat comes in when Steve starts to upgrade and starts to learn. And because his system is fully active, which nobody else's is on Earth, he's then starting to very quickly become on a power level with these guys, and they don't like that. They do not like that at all.
No, they do not. Which his system awakening scene is fucking brutal. Oh, it's intense. I remember when I listened to it for the first time, and I was like, "Holy shit!" But also, he's dealing with his own stuff. That's on because he kind of fucked up with what was it, the mob of some kind.
So he'd essentially, so you think we've all made mistakes in our life. We've all got to that point at some point where you just go, fuck this shit. I just go out today and I could run from all this. I could just go wherever. And essentially he's ex-military. He's an ex-enforcer, and he finds it very, very easy to turn to the dark side. Essentially, he's very brutal. But he's trying to be good. That's the thing. He does try to be good, and he spent a couple of years. He met a girl. He settled down, and he tried to be a good little worker bee.
Yeah.
And when his relationship fell apart, at first you find him, and he's blaming her all the way through. And then as he grows up throughout the rest of the series, as he starts to become more self-aware, he starts to realize that, hey, it took two to screw that up, and really a lot of it was me. But when the relationship has totally detonated, he takes an offered job for an enforcer who, amusingly, because I just felt like it, is Kevin Sinclair. Because Kev Sinclair, the author, is a good friend of mine. So I named it.
Kev.
Exactly, you gotta love Kev. But so we ended up with the bad guy in this situation is Kevin Sinclair, who hires him to do a job. And he does this job with the rest of the group. They rob somewhere, and when he realizes the money that he's supposed to be walking away with is, rather than it being, I think off the top of my head, something like 80 or 100,000, it's only 100,000 in total, and he's going to get a sixth of that. So he just sort of goes, you know what, fuck this shit, takes the money and runs. And he is hiding from the mob on the island of Crete, having quite a nice life.
He gets discovered because someone gets video footage of him doing this heroic, badass rescue where he drives a dirt bike off of the side of a cliff to go help this girl that's drowning, who becomes kind of the main love interest for the series.
She's one of the group, but it's Ingrid meets further on. So yeah.
Well, isn't it? I thought he rescued Ingrid. Or is it her friend he rescues?
It's, you remember the group that he goes to work with at first. The girls are in that group.
Yes.
And
okay.
As he's running from them further on and trying to get away from them all, that's when he meets Ingrid.
It's been a hot minute since I read that book, because I read that.
It's been a lot longer since I wrote it.
Yeah, true. Because that was my listen when I drove home from Colorado back to Indiana. So wow. That's what kept me awake for, my 17 and a half hour drive. No, that one was 19. Yeah, that one's the 19-hour drive. Oh, God. But there's some stuff in the comments where it's like, oh, but it's Jez. He punishes his main characters all the time, which is true. Your characters are kind of like punching bags, and not in a bad way.
They can take it, so what's the problem?
Exactly. Here? That's why I said not in a bad way.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the characters to be beaten down to a point where they then need to be built up, and to
Yeah,
see them, because I always think that as a writer, a big part of it is actually sharing the whole human condition, which is why I usually have sexy scenes in it as well. They're always fade to
right.
black, but it's a case of sex is part of life.
Hmm.
And when you're stressed to all hell, when everything goes wrong, and then suddenly you survive it all, you're like, oh, thank God. And you have this massive surge of just good feelings and panic, and you want sexy time. So that's why there's always some sexy time in there. But it's a case of I like the characters to experience real adversity and real panic, and then to rise above it all.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to put it. And I mean, all of your characters do kind of experience that like life or death situation, and then it's like, oh yeah, time for some fun. It's like, we just killed a bunch of shit. Now
Yeah,
we're gonna have the real fun.
yeah, exactly.
Which I mean, that's kind of a, killing a bunch of shit like is a huge part of all of your books, because
Yeah,
there are the monsters, there are, the greater evil. We'll say it that way.
yeah, I tend to write. I don't write sort of nice, happy books. When I first started out, I tried to write a lot. I really like Dakota Kraut's Dungeon series, his Divine
Yep.
Dungeon. I really like that. My version of that was Rise of Mankind,
Yep.
which is a totally different beast. Because when I tried to write, and in that sort of upbeat, hey, it's okay, it feels nice, it feels really nice, his stuff. Mine just doesn't, and I kept trying to write it, and it just kept veering over into the dark side and into grim dark.
Right.
And I thought, no, let's just embrace it. Let's just enjoy this.
No, it's that's the series I wanted to move on to next, which was Rise of Mankind, because that I think actually was that my first jazz book? I think that was my first jazz book. I tried Underverse, and I just wasn't in the right mindset to read it at that time, because that was around the time it first dropped, and I loved the cover. I was like, the cover is fucking awesome. This is some Dark Souls level shit right here.
Yeah.
And then I started reading it. I was like, I'm just not in the mood. So I went to Rise of Mankind because Neil Helgers was the narrator for it.
Yeah.
And we had just had Neil on the show. This was back in the very first season of Stats. This is when it was Stats on Stats, not even Chat and Stats.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Rise of Mankind, and I was like, okay, now you've sold me. I'm gonna check out this book. And holy shit, I was so happy to check it out, because the way the system worked, the fact that it was a dungeon core, which I didn't realize that it was a dungeon core at first, and that he essentially kind of he's a dungeon core main character without being the dungeon core itself.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, okay, this is gonna get fucking good. And what was it? Age of
Stone.
Age of Stone is the first book, and then Age of Bronze, that's the third book, right?
Second.
Second.
Age of Stone, Age of Bronze, Age of Iron,
Age of
Age
Iron.
of Steel, Age of Forged Steel.
I'm trying to remember which one had the Goblin raid, where shit just really was it the Goblin raid? There was a raid of some kind. I can't remember which raid it was. It's been a hot minute since I've done this one, where where they have to like make the decision on like what's going to be the actual like correct thing to do. And his girlfriend at the time makes a rational decision where she thought it was best, and he just loses his shit. Or do I have that backwards? You talked about it at Jordan Con last year.
I've slept since then.
Same. And
tell me some more about it now.
They go to him about making a decision, and I believe it's his girlfriend that makes the decision to save one person's life. And it kind of fucks everything up, and a lot of people die because of it. Or it might have been vice versa. He makes the decision to save someone, and then she just goes off on him because a lot more people died. And he's like, hey, I tried to ask you your opinion. You told me to do what I thought was best. I did that. And now you're screaming at me. What the fuck?
I vaguely remember it, but it's been so long since I wrote it.
I think that's That might actually be book 5 that happens.
So I was thinking when you were talking about the Goblin Raid, I was thinking you were talking about the Goblin Dungeon.
There's the Goblin Dungeon. That's in book 2, isn't it?
Yeah, that's 2. I'm trying to remember book 5. See, people say that if you don't know your characters inside, if you don't know the story inside out, then it proves it was AI that wrote it. And it's like, if only AI could do this, and if only AI could be this much fucked up, and if only AI was about 5 fucking years ago when I wrote it. But you know, it's literally a case of when. Well, you're not wrong there, dude.
And I was gonna say Ryan's comment's perfect right here. Is just has too many books to remember that kind of detail. And then of course Jay hits it with the, oh, you mean books.
Books. Fucking camera's gone again.
And Maria's right. There's a lot of books with goblins in it. So
let's have a look.
But I want to say it's book 5.
Book 5.
That it might be, because it's the whole aspect of, you know, they all kind of, they have the council, but they don't really all go by it. Like they kind of do like what they think is best. Mm-hmm. And a decision's made, and at the time you think it's the better decision, and it ends up being the bad decision. It's like when you're playing a game and you have the outcomes of different endings, you're like, oh, which ending would be the better one? I'm going to shoot for this one. And it turns out, oh no, I just doomed the entire fucking settlement.
Yes. The reason behind that as well, the thought process behind that was Fable.
I love Fable.
The Fable series, where it's a case of at the end of it, and you have the choice of you're preparing for the big war that's to come, and you only have so much you can do. You can only help so many people, and then they'll help you in turn. But some of that will be wasted, some of it won't work, some of it will fall apart, and some of it will be brilliant. And that was it, making the decisions. And when it gets fucked up, having to live with it. Yeah. I know I got a lot of hate for that one, to be honest with you, on Kelly, the main character's partner, the romantic interest, saying that it's ridiculous because she's, you know, he lets her make these decisions, and she's so strong. She's a bitch, a lot of people said. And it was like, I don't think she is. I think she's just quite strong in herself. She knows who she is. And he's saying, look, I am really good at this. I'm really bad at that. You're really good at that. If I give you this to take care of, and I'll accept that you can do those things and you can run that bit, that means I can focus on here, and I can really focus on it and do better. And it's a relationship, essentially. It's the characters playing to their strengths and accepting that, hey, shit's going to go wrong, but we work on this together and we'll get there in the end. And I can't remember the exact details of it, but I do remember the shape of it and like the feeling of it. So I do know you're right with that. I just can't remember the details.
And I was going to say, that's one of the scenes. It just felt like it's real. Because in a lot of these series, you know, there's always like the plot armor and stuff like that, where stuff's going to happen, but it's not going to affect the outcome of the books. Where we'll take Alaron, for example. Book 2, we have the Bugbear raid. You have the scene with Petal. That still affects Richter all the way through the rest of the series. Where in some lit RPGs, you know, something big happens and then you forget about it. Because it's like, oh, it's not that important. I like the shit where it's like, oh, here's a callback to, you know, book 1, where they make this decision. Now it's coming back to bite them in the ass, because if they would have done it this way, it would have had a different outcome. But at the time, for when the story was, you know, being developed and everything, that was the right decision to make.
Yeah, because you can't see what you can't know what you can't know. You have to deal with things on the basis it's presented to you. And sometimes there is no right choice. No. And I think it's really important to have those scenes in, because that's life. Again, there isn't.
And that's why I like your books the way they are, because, like, yes, they do get dark. But here's the thing. If there was a system integration that took over the world, it's going to be dark. It's not going to be fireballs and sunshines and fucking rainbows. No. Hard decisions are going to be made. People are going to die. We have to make the decisions that's best for the settlement. It's like, you know, when people are like, I can't wait for the zombie apocalypse to happen. It's like, yeah, I have a plan I've been working on that's probably 3 binders full of shit right now. But it also comes down to what kind of fucking zombies we're getting.
Yeah.
Because if we're getting the
It's a
Walking
slow
Dead
kind, we're
zombies,
all
yeah,
over the
we're
moon.
kind of fine. If we're getting the World War Z zombies, yeah, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things where it makes your characters feel real and not just names on a page. It brings those characters to life, which Lit RPG does a really good job at doing. But like I said, sometimes I feel like the plot armor is there more than the actual consequences.
It's a side effect of Lit RPG itself, because the way that a lot of people write it, and I'm as guilty as anybody else, but is that they plan, right? And I'm a pantser. You have two sets of authors, two different mentalities. You have planners and you have pantsers, as in you plan the whole series out, you plan the whole thing out, or you do it by the seat of your pants, and you find out what happens at the same time as the reader does. I'm a pantser, so I make my shit up as I go along, and my great downfall with that is occasionally I'll wrap myself into a corner and I'm like, I don't know why this works. Shit. And I have to figure it all out. The other side is that if you're a planner, you plan the whole thing and then you make it follow those rails, which is when you have plot armor, because you have he survives because he has to survive and because he's doing this. While as a pantser, our advantage is that we can take it however we feel like that day, because we can view it as this is what the character would do based on what I've given him right now and what's happened. This is where I feel that character would go. The downside is that is why my books are 200,000 plus words, 20 hours plus for every book, because the character's going off on a tangent and he's fucking exploring the world and he's having a whale of a time.
Right.
It'd be half the size if I actually had a plan.
I mean, that's fair. You let the character speak to you, and you just kind of go with that.
Yeah, it's definitely an incident report.
All right. So now we'll segue a little bit to your big series. This is the Lit RPG that, we're celebrating book 10 just releasing. Let's talk about it, Jez. Let's talk Underverse.
So basically, like I was saying before, I planned it for 12 books. The problem that I have is that the way that my mentality works before we get into the actual series is that I essentially sit in my office for 8 hours a day and I write for 8 hours a day if I'm not distracted by admin or something shiny. It's literally a case though of the reason that we can write at the speed we can and continue it after 6 years is because the way that I was working personally is I jumped from series to series to series. So I'd write 2 books in Arise, 2 books in Rise of Mankind, 2 books in Underverse, which kept every world nice and fresh for me and kept me working at the same high-end sort of speed. The problem with that is that it means that I write 2 books, which takes me about 3 months per book, and then my 3 months of editing. So we say 6 months to write these 2, 6 months to write these, 6 months to write these. That means that if you really like this series, when I finish the second book, you're not getting another one for at least a year and a half. And obviously some fans love this series, don't really like this series. I enjoy that series, but I really want this series. And so when my pattern was established and people realized that it was this long between the books, a lot of people were getting a bit upset because it's like, well, I really want this. And in Lit RPG, we do tend to release every 3 to 6 months. So when the option is 3 to 6 months for this series or 18 months plus, people were like, well, I really want that. But so I gave it some thought and I thought about it and realized that I was doing both my fans and myself a disservice by doing this. So I decided what I would do instead is I would knuckle down, I would finish the series that I have. So I finished off Arise, first of all, because I had 4 books outstanding in that one, did all of those, and then realized that at that point, it's like, okay, I have at least 6 books left to write in Rise of Mankind, and I have, at that point, 7 books left to write in Underverse. But the problem was that Underverse hadn't had a new book out in 2 years already. So it's like, well, I really should do, logically, I should do Rise of Mankind first. It's a smaller one to finish. I can finish all of that one and it's done. And then I can go on to this one, which will take longer. But because of the time the fans have been waiting for Underverse, I decided what I would do is do another 3 of Rise of Mankind, take it up to 8, get that up to plan, because my intention for Rise of Mankind is it would finish at 10 books. So I did that for like another 9 months of writing. And then I went across to Underverse to finish Underverse. And that's where I've been for the last year, thereabouts. And I've essentially written 5 books. It was 5 books, not 7, sorry. But I've written 5 books in a year. So blasting through. I'm still working on a few things for that, but then I'm going to work on another little project of my own just to keep myself sane. Because if you focus too long on something, you will go insane, you will burn out. So at the end of this year, I plan to be back to Rise of Mankind to finish off those last 2, because Underverse's 12th book will be coming out in September of this year. So you're going to have, we've got Wrath Rising, which came out just the 3rd of February.
Yep,
we've
a month
got,
ago today.
Yep. Was that your birthday, was it?
No, it was just a month ago today.
I thought you said my birthday.
We had talked. It was a month ago today. We had talked about doing the show around the release, and then you had to have the
I had a
dental.
Oh,
and
not
then
nice.
No, I remember because you had that. I was dealing with my stuff at the house, and we were just both like, you know what? Let's just take a day, and relax, because I was getting over a sickness at that point, and I was dying.
Oh yeah. No, it wasn't good timing. So,
but we have book 11, which you kind of have, which that's book 10.
That's the one that's just released. Yep. And then
have we done a cover reveal for book 11 yet?
If not, no.
Let's hold it up. Look at that beautiful bastard.
Let's get the camera to stop tracing me.
God, I love that cover.
Yep.
Shit. I want it. I need it. I need it. That is okay. Yes, we have had I can't remember with how much cover reveals there have been, because I'm in so many damn lit RPG groups on Facebook. I never know which cover reveals have been done and which haven't, because I see some stuff that it's exclusive sometimes, and then I'm not allowed to talk about it.
And in my case, Geneva runs all of sort of my systems, so I just sort of go, here you go. Between Chrissy, my wife, and Geneva, I just turn up wherever I'm told to be, essentially at conventions, and try and make sure I have pants on.
Yep. I mean, that's fair. That is really fair. But Underverse is more of your darker series.
Yes. So
I think that is the most dark.
Yeah, it's very much it's very grimdark.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're looking at with Underverse is that the main character, Jax, Jack, his gamer handle was Jax, so he goes by Jax. Jax has essentially all of his life, he and his twin brother Tommy have had nightmares, except that his nightmares are real. They're him from being very, very small as a child, being drawn through to a magical realm at the center of reality called the Underverse. And this is somewhere that his bloodline, he doesn't understand this yet, but he finds out quite sort of early in the book that his bloodline are connected to the Underverse. And his bloodline were essentially taught, were created in a way to be the last line of defense for people. When the Empire fell, they had sites all over the Empire that were, if you were in need, if you had no other alternative and the legions wouldn't be able to make it to you in time, you could go to these sites and you could pray and you could awaken a mana wight, which would be this body created of purely of mana that's physical, that'll last about 6 hours and then it'll break down and just dissolve. And one of the Emperor's own family will come through to physically sort of puppet this body, to live inside this body and to fight for you. And there's weapons, there's equipment all there. And obviously these are the Emperor's own family. They're trained as amazing soldiers. They're trained as martial artists and as magic users. Except that was 700 years ago that the Empire fell. And not many people have responded to these calls for help ever since then. Monsters have come. The whole Underverse is this nightmarish realm now. The Empire has rolled back its borders. The legions have collapsed. It's an absolute shit show. And Jax and his brother are being called through from a very, very young age to pilot these bodies. And they are literally waking up in the middle of the night. They've gone to sleep. They wake up in this fully grown man's body, with monsters attacking these people, and they're running out to help. And obviously, at first, they die, and they die a lot. They die very brutally. They're attacked. They're torn apart, and they see these people that they've failed, and they see them die as well. And as they then wake up in their bed, these wounds that have killed them have followed them through. But it's a case of like you'll have like massive deep wounds across the arm. The part of the magic will then heal within a few minutes, and they'll recover, but they will have massive scars. They will lose a lot of blood. They are traumatized by this. But the other side of it ends up that these children growing up, when they enter the system, they don't, their mother's dead, and the father was never on the scene, and they are going into the adoption system, and they're moving from home to home. They're growing up, they have no clue about the background, but they're tagged as troublemakers, because for them, when there's a threat, it's a real threat. And they are conditioned by this to react explosively and with a lot of violence. And so when they do this, they really do it. So at first, neither of them have any real skill, but the one thing they do have is this driving urge to beat the living shit out of whatever their enemy is. And so you see them as they sort of grow older. The story starts with them being fully grown men, their experience, their understanding a bit more of what's going on. But Tommy, his brother, has vanished 5 years ago, hasn't been seen since. And Jax at the time was in the army. They were both in the army, but Tommy was thrown out for self-harming, which wasn't self-harming. It was literally a case of he had one of these dreams, woke up covered in blood, and was sent to a psych ward. He's then been booted out. Jax isn't given an option, obviously, hey, you can leave with your brother as well. He's forced to go to Afghanistan. When he comes back from Afghanistan, his brother is gone. Doesn't know where he is for 5 long years. When he finds out what's going on, he's taken captive by his father. And he's given the option. You go to the Underverse, you do a job for me, and Tommy's there. You get to have your life back with him. And if you do your job, you can come back here. You can do what you want. We'll give you loads of money. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Or you can stay there. I don't care. But your option is you go to the Underverse or you die. And minor little thing he has to do before then is he's got 6 months in which he's going to be trained to be able to go to the Underverse and survive in this environment, to learn all the kind of skills you need. But also there's an arena because the other nobles of the Underverse that his father is have come through to this realm 700 years ago when there was an apocalypse, a cataclysmic event. And they're now here, chilling out and going, we want the portal opened up back there, but we want it to be stable, so we're not going to risk ourselves. We're going to throw through these scions and let them fight it out and find us a safe way home. So there's an arena where 12 of them have to fight to the death. And whoever wins
fucking brutal, and I love
gets
it.
to go. And if you don't win, you don't get to go. You're dead. So, yeah.
Which, of course, Jax's main weapon is Naginata.
Oh, yes.
Which we love a good Naginata user. I can only think of 2 lit RPGs that have the Naginata, which are obviously Underverse and, oh boy, here it is. Oh boy.
Yep. Well, when I wrote it, everybody was doing stories with swords. I thought, no, I want a real weapon. So I wrote it with a Naginata.
Naginatas are so fucking cool.
Yep. Let's get the camera stopped again. And then let's give you a little.
Which you were when you forged that yourself.
This is actually the second one. This isn't the one I forged. Oh. I went down to London and I spent a week with a master bladesmith and I forged my own. Then we raffled that one off for charity.
Right.
And this is the one that he made and that I bought because I wanted one as well. So
it's so fucking good. So Dax Bay asked, Jez, what of your books would you recommend starting with? And then asked, or really anyone else that has read, what would you recommend as first? So I'll let you answer this one.
Honestly, I don't know if it depends on the kind of mentality, like what you're looking for out of the story. So Underverse, essentially, the best way of looking at this is Underverse is a Sakai. It is, you start off in this world, you go to that world, you don't come back. It is primarily fantasy and magic based. Okay, very brutal, very dark, But there's always, all of my stories are a ray of hope. There's always start here, build to here, and there is hope that things will work out. That's the idea behind it. Okay. So if you're looking for a Sakai going to another realm and fantasy based, Underverse. If you're looking for more of a crunchy, dark, definitely dark, and you're looking for the dungeon core, you're looking for Age of Stone. Now that one is very technical in the way that he builds his dungeon and having to follow set rules, upgrade paths, that kind of thing. But it's also, the world is falling apart. All electricity has stopped, everything's vanished, and it's literally a case of it's humanity trying to survive as the world falls apart around them and magic starts. So that's Age of Stone for that one. Arise is the urban fantasy. So it starts out in Greece and is, again, quite brutal. Is a technology based in that it's a nanite leveling system, but it is this world as it is now. So Underverse, away from this world. Age of Stone, the world has ended and it's post-apocalyptic. And Arise is this world as it is now, just continuing forward. And then you've got Cyberpunk, which is set about 700 years in the future of an alternative timeline for us here on Earth. And you've got Prototype, which is deliberately not explained as to where it is in the sort of the thematic layout, but it's essentially a bit further in the future and an alternative timeline again. So if you want a standalone, go for Prototype. It'll give you an idea of what I kind of do, and a similar leveling system to Arise, but Cyberpunk, Autumn. So I think we've got pretty much one for everything there.
I think so. Now all you need is a deck builder. Motherfucker. Do you have one in the works?
I ain't saying shit.
Ah, you bastard. You gotta tease me a little bit.
Well, it's that I play with my nipples, so yeah.
I mean, we'll save that for after the live ends.
I'm not wearing nipple tassels this time.
That's fine with me. So Dennis did ask, is Prototype always going to be a standalone? You kind of touched on that earlier, where you kind of wrapped up the main character's story for them, and they're going off and escaping into their own way.
It was always intended that way. It was always planned to be a standalone, that it would literally be a case of it's opening a possible world to basically go forward. Because I like to think of that one as, you know, when you plan for things, when a story comes to an end and it's like, well, what more? I want more of this. It was intended to end at that point where it just says, okay, now it's for you to imagine how the next stage goes.
Right. All right. Well, that kind of brings us to the end of our episode. So we'll start wrapping things up here. Jez, we talked about Lit RPG Con earlier, but are there any other cons you're planning on attending in the US this year?
Oh yeah, I'm doing Jordan Con in Atlanta in April the 10th, off the top of my head.
17th through the 20th.
I haven't a clue, really. It's April, I know that much. It's about 6 weeks' time, and it's in Atlanta. Jordan Con is a really nice con. It's a small con usually. It's going to be bigger this year because Robert Jordan, Wheel of Time is the ethos behind it. That's what it's all about, really. We have our own Lit RPG track at it, which Geneva and Emily run again. It's basically Lit RPG. Any convention, it's Geneva and Emily are running it. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah.
The Wheel of Time was finished off when Robert Jordan died, unfortunately, before he got to the end of the series. But he did plan it all out. He did leave all the notes for it, and he selected, with his wife, they selected Brandon Sanderson to take on and finish the story. And Brandon Sanderson's going to be there this year. So they usually cap it at around 1,000 sales for tickets, and that's it. They're not capping it this year, which prove it's going to be bedlam, really, because Brando Sando is going to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go there this year because it's a really nice con to go to. It's early in the year. It's not too manic. And it's a really nice hotel as well. It's a nice
place. The hotel's
to
wonderful.
It really is. But this is probably going to be my last year at it. It was a case of I wanted to go to this one just to have one last year at it and one last hurrah and to meet Brandon Sando. But yeah, this will be my last one, I think.
That's fair. I mean, it's a lot of traveling, especially with you across the pond and, you know, like that. And I mean, if you were to do that, Lit RPG Con and, you know, Dragon Con, that's like 3 round trips.
Well, that's the thing. It's Dragon Con is. I won't be doing Dragon Con again.
I'm not doing Dragon Con this year.
It's just because Dragon Con is the way we look at it from my point of view. Because I'm coming from the UK, it's costing me on average to fly out, stay in the hotel, come like not counting the week of lost work, but the week out there, week coming back, we're looking at 10,000 plus. It costs. Okay, so it's got to be worth it financially for me to do it. And looking at it, because of the size of Dragon Con, there's around 100,000 people there, which is wonderful. It sounds great because you get to meet 100,000 people.
Yeah.
But you don't, because out of that 100,000, the vast majority are there for TV and movie and cosplay. And when you take those out and you spread it out across the 4 main hotels and the dozen or so surrounding it, which are also filled up by it, what you end up with is about 5,000 readers, essentially, attending it. And out of those 5,000 readers, you've got all the different genres. So you break it down further and you look at it and you go, right, well, what we end up with is maybe 200 lit RPG readers who are also dispersed across this wide area and diluted by 100,000 other people. So you don't get to meet that many people. You meet loads of cool people, but not that many of our fans. So looking at it the last couple of years, I've gone, well, it's cool. It's really interesting. It's really big and like, whoa, it's great. And we had some tremendous drinking sessions with some very strange people. Some really weird parties, believe you me. But it's not worth it for me to keep going to it because there's so many other things I could do. There's so many other cons to do. And I have a young family. My 2 children are 5 and 7. And this is a week away from them. So if I'm doing London Book Fair in another week, a week from now, that's a week away. Then I go again in April, that's another week away. You go for July, you go for Lit RPG Con, that's another week away. I'm looking at, before I even look at the rest of the year, I've already got 3 weeks away from my family and 3 weeks of not writing. So
yeah,
when Chris and I talked about it, I agree that what I would do is I would cut it back to 2 US cons, maybe 3, and that's it. I'll do 2 in the UK or sort of Europe based, and then I'll have a nice family holiday, and then that's more than enough, and that's still like 7 weeks of traveling of the year. So
no, that's really fair. I mean, you know, Ryan and I were talking, and he just even said if it wasn't Houston, I'd be doing only Jordan Con and What RPG Con. That's kind of how my mentality was, because I was going to go to Gen Con this year, and then obviously stuff happened where I'm no longer in Indiana. So I'm not doing Gen Con this year, and it sucks because they're doing some stuff for the Dungeon Crawler Carl tabletop game, because Gen Con is a very board game, like tabletop, like convention.
Yeah,
it's fucking fantastic. It's so cool to go to, but now I'm like, well, damn, now I'm sad. So I'm excited to see how that game is going to come out, because obviously I'm going to get it. And especially there's 2. There's the tabletop game, and then there's a deck builder. And I was like, oh, well, you sold me on a deck builder. Come on. But I think Jordan Con's going to be a good time this year. I'm really excited for it. Yeah. At the Half Price Books over here, they have the leather-bound Mistborn. It's $125. And I was like, I want to buy it, but I'm not in the position to buy it at the moment. Because it's fucking gorgeous. So I'm like, I want it.
I've really enjoyed, because at Jordan Con, for those that don't know, they have a charity auction at the end every year. And part of what they have is they have things like they have signed books. But they have signed books or book plates by Robert Jordan. Now, he's been dead for 10 plus years, so there's only so many of these out there in the world. So understand that they are going up in price massively.
You won them last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And I don't even know where it is.
I just remember on the last day when they announced like the winners and everything, you just coming around with like a big grin on your face, and you had the book plates.
Yep, there we go. It's in that one. Yep.
That's so fucking cool.
Yep. It is The Wheel of Time, signed by Robert Jordan. That is, I'm going to buy, because I've been tempted for a while, to be honest. But there's this very, very nice set of The Wheel of Time, the full series, in leather with It's the dragon rides across it,
Yeah.
all the way across it, and it's like $1,000, I think. And I've been tempted for a while, but I'm looking at now that I know that I've lost at least one of those. It's going to cost me $100 to buy a used one of that with the same cover. And I've got half hardbacks, half paperbacks, and you just go, I'm going to treat myself. And when I do, I'm going to start buying more of these and bidding for more of these. But every year, the point that I was getting to is that there's this charity auction. It's a wonderful thing. And they have some incredible stuff donated. They have swords. They have, well, yeah. You say that like it's not understood, dude. Of course I want the thing in leather. But they have some great stuff. And you can bid on it online from outside as well. It is well worth looking at. And some of the book sets they have. Ooh.
So what I'm hearing is we need to do the boudoir shoot for the Lit RPG calendar. So we're just going to start raising money. It's not for charity or anything. It's for us to get the books we want.
I'm game. I'm going Zargos though.
All right. I will have the camera ready for Lit RPG Con. Authors, start signing up. We're going to start doing the sexy calendar.
All I'm saying is, if you didn't get the Zargos reference,
I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
That's what I'm going to go
past it. Hey. No, because we've always made jokes about doing the calendar, and I've always said for February it needs to be you and Chatfield. Do like the fireman like calendar and everything, and it's like, oh, who's Mr. February? It's like we have Misters February.
Yeah.
So
I think I need to tone up a bit more before I do that, but yeah, fuck it, I'll still do it.
Nah, go all out now. I mean, I'm going to the gym because we'll make sure that we have the podcasters in there in some way.
Definitely.
There's cuck chairs in all the rooms, so
we'll just have me and Chatfield holding like a ladder or something, and have you dangling from the end.
No, I was gonna say have Joel because he's a little smaller. He might be able to hang down a little bit better.
Have both of you on the ends hanging down. Just be like that.
Damn. But Jez, my friend, thank you so much. This was a good time. I'm glad we were able to reschedule this. If you are an author that's interested in being on RPG, please feel free to reach out to me. I am currently setting up the schedules. I have availability from now until so go ahead. I'm all settled in now. I can start planning everything.
Well, wonderful.
There we go. Dax gets it.
Yeah.
That could be a challenge. Whoever finds me in all the photos in the cuck chairs, we'll just put him. It's like a Where's Waldo, but it's Where's Rich.
But even more fucked up.
Yeah.
You
know what? Fuck it. I'll even get the Waldo cosplay. I'll get the red and white striped beanie and shirt, and then the glasses.
I think you should.
We'll do it. Fuck it. We're doing it. Full sending it. Call Geneva. We're doing it. This is gonna be fun. But Jez, my friend, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And also, if you guys haven't read Jez's books, what the fuck are you doing? Go do them. Go read them. Right. Dax, like he said for you, it depends on what mood you're in. If you want the isekai story, Underverse. If you want the post-apocalyptic, dungeon core story, obviously Rise of Mankind. And if you want just kind of the supernatural urban fantasy come fuckery, do Rise Arise, because
yeah.
I mean, the book one's cover of Arise is probably one of my favorite covers you've ever done. The big ass fucking werewolf just absolutely tearing some dude apart. Actually, no, that's a lie. Book 2, because it's got that paladin armor style. But here we go.
Yep.
That dude gets fucked up.
Yeah.
It's a good book, though. It's a damn good book. And the audio is fantastic, too, because it is narrated by Christopher Boucher and Jessica Threet. And we love Jessica Threet. Oh, what are we grabbing? Yeah, there's that paladin armor.
Yep.
See, that just, it's so fucking badass.
Yeah. I enjoyed that one. was a very,
And Dennis,
very fun
it is
to run.
real. He does have hardbacks in those because I got those for Joel for his as a wedding gift.
Oh, well, it's been a pleasure, my friend. It's been good to see you again. I'm looking forward to seeing you in like 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks, and I got a box of chips with your name on them.
Damn straight.
I'll make sure it's got a proper handle for you to carry them around this time.
Yes. For those that don't understand, Lidar basically Lay's barbecue chips, if you're American, or crisps if you're actually a civilized person. They used to have them in the UK and they changed the flavor. And then because the new flavor was shit, nobody bought it. And then they went, oh, barbecue just doesn't work here. And it's like, no, it does. Just put it back to the old flavor. Put it the one we liked. Mm-hmm. Went, no, barbecue doesn't work. And they stopped just selling them, period. You couldn't get barbecue crisps here. And the main reason is because they outlawed most of the ingredients, but they're all perfectly legal in America still. So whenever I come over to America, I just get a load of these fucking packets of crisps.
We stockpile. The first time I met Jez in person, I handed him 3 bags. He got 2 bags of barbecue, and then I gave him the Sweet Southern Heat because that one's one of my go-tos. I was like, here, try those. And I believe when you got back home, your son had dipped into the Sweet Southern Heat.
Yeah. Now what I do is I literally come with an extra large overfilled suitcase and then leave shit here. Like I leave shit in America and just fill it with crisps. Like, there we go. Chip it all up.
Just bring me some books. We'll do the fair exchange.
Yeah, it works. Tell me what you're missing, we'll sort it out.
Oh yeah, we'll get it figured out. Ryan, we have to do a Costco run. Just heads up. Anyways, but Jez, my friend, thank you so much for staying up because that time difference is. No, I mean it's what 9:30 for you.
Yeah, 9:30. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Well, go say hi to Chrissy for me. Enjoy your week. Happy Monday. And everyone who tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed this live presentation of Richey's Players Guild with Jez Cajiao. It was an absolute blast of a time, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you, guys. And thank you again, Richey. Good seeing you, my friend.
Thank you, Jez.